Good morning, everybody. Welcome to AM Power. I'm very grateful to be here with you this morning. I'm excited to talk about how your mind can get in the way of your mission. And I want to talk to you about how my mission started before even Vital Health. So before Vital Health, I was a wedding planner and I did that for 9 years. And simultaneously, well, the only two things that I did was I did weddings. I did 120 weddings a year, plus another like 30 to 50 corporate events a year. I did that for 9 years. So all I did was work. And at the same time, I was also an alcoholic. So I was either drinking or I was at work. And I tell you this because when I decided to change my life and I decided to turn my mess into my message or my mess into my mission, I didn't have any influence on social media, but I knew that I wanted to go out and share a mission and share a message with people because I had just experienced, I started drinking when I was 13, 12, 13. And really by the age of 15 till I was 25, I drank every single day, maybe like a couple days out of the year I didn't, but pretty much that entire time. And I had my own reasons for that. I was running, from my emotions. I was trying to numb my feelings. I didn't want to look back into my past. And so that led me to that experience, but I wasn't very influential online. Can you guess that somebody that's working all the time and who is an alcoholic probably doesn't have a very great message to go out and send. And I wasn't influential. So when I changed my life and I got sober, and I started posting about my workouts and I started posting about my food and I started posting about what my message was to people, it became magnetic. And it was really interesting because I went from only ever posting, me drinking wine somewhere fancy to, me posting these workouts and people commenting. And all of a sudden I grew this community of people. And I was just showing up, sharing, like I wasn't thinking about what I was going to post. It wasn't this big like overthinking process. It was just like I need to go on and tell people what I'm doing. Like I was documenting my life. And it was interesting because then when I got into network marketing, the influence that I had created accidentally, really, it was just, I was so grateful to be living a healthy life and talking about it and being like, you can do it too, especially the people I grew up with, because we all kind of had some of the same habits. So people seeing that I had changed things were like, oh, you can do that. And I was like, yeah, look how cool, like it's possible, right? So then when I got into my first network marketing company, I sponsored like 25 people in my first month. I'd hit 10,000 in volume my first month. And it was all because I had just gone on and create on my social media and created influence just through sharing my message and my mission with people. And so today I want to talk to you guys about your brand and about talking about your own message and your own mission. I mean, I can only see 4 people at the top of my screen, and that's James, Michelle, Berta, and Brooke. And I already know the 3, I can't see Berta's camera, so the 3 human beings I can physically see right now, I already know you guys have a message. I already know that you have a mission. And I already know that the world would be a greater place the more you got that mission out there. And so I just want to talk about your brand and how your brand is just your life. It's talking about your life. It's talking about the pain that you've turned into purpose. It's talking about the alchemy that you've created in your life. That's the best way. That's one of the best ways to go out and create influence. Now there's multiple ways to create influence, but I love the idea of creating influence, because with influence, we can go out and be change makers, right? The more people that trust us and want to listen to us and hear us are willing to do what we say. And if we have something great to lead them to and we can be change makers on the planet, then it's really important to have influence, right? Think of them as the greatest change makers on the planet. Imagine if they had no influence and no one listened to them. It would have been a lot harder, right? So your business is not built on how much you post, okay? So I want you guys to get this straight. It's based on how much you stand for. And you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be aligned, okay? So you need to find something that you really truly believe in. When you're rooted in what you believe, you will naturally build influence. This is where your vibe will attract your tribe. Okay. And I believe that so much because it's this weird thing where sometimes we get nervous about showing up on social media in our authenticness, right? And the mind is like, maybe you should show up like this, or maybe you should edit that or change that. But then we're not us. We're not authentically us. So then we show up in this inauthentic way, and then we don't attract the people that we want to attract. So it's so important that we remember that our vibe attracts our tribe. And I look back, you guys, on that version of me that first started showing up, there was no filter. Like if I showed you guys, I documented everything I did all day long. I took my phone with me and was like, this is what I'm doing right now. And I'm eating in my car and I'm driving with one hand while I'm, multitasking. Like I documented everything I was doing all day long and told everybody what was in my mind. I used to bring my scale to Chipotle and weigh my food. And I was like, I'm weighing my food at Chipotle. And like, I look back and I'm like, Brooke, you literally had zero filter. Like, but people loved it. My social media was popping. I had like 500 to 1200 likes on all my posts. I had like 50 to 75 comments all the time. Like my engagement was way better than it is now. Now I get like 20 likes, right? But the difference between who I am now and how I show up now, and part of why I'm telling you guys this is because I've done it. And then I'm also working to get back to how I used to show up because a lot has happened to me. You guys, how many of you guys have been experienced some type of pain in showing up in a certain way in your life, and you've shown up a certain way, and then you've experienced pain from it? Well, that's what happened. I showed up like that, and I create this massive influence and massive following. And then I decided to kind of like rebrand because I changed some things about how I wanted to represent myself, and it didn't land well. And then my mind was like, oh, that's not safe. And then now people don't like you. And so my mind created this weird like conversation, and I pulled back from social media for a couple of years, and I've now gotten back into it, but I pulled back from social media from that transition, and I started marketing something else. I started marketing something that I was really excited about, and it didn't land great, and it created fear. And so now I'm trying to get back to showing up more and more and more because there is a lot that I have to say. And I know there's a lot that you guys have to say. There's a lot that you guys do on the daily, that thoughts that you're having, actions that you're doing, ways that you're showing up that people can get value from. And we don't show up and give that because there's something in the back of our mind that's like, maybe people don't want to see this, or maybe people aren't interested. And I'll tell you guys, the things that you don't think people might not be interested in or get value from is probably the thing that they would want to see. Okay. So when it comes to your brand and it comes to us showing up, you guys, I want you guys to think about what change do you want to see in the world? Okay. That is why we're here. We're here to be catalysts for change. What really gets you excited to talk about? If you had a little magic wand and you could be like, "Bing," like what changes would you want to see in the world? For me, I love talking about holistic wellness. I love talking about natural wellness. I love talking about transformation. I love letting people know, giving people permission, giving people empowerment that you don't have to be the same person you were a week ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, yesterday. You can be a different person. I love talking about alchemy. I love teaching people that the hardest, most challenging things that we've been through were only so we could turn that into our wisdom and our greatness and our purpose and go out and change other people's lives with it. So think about what change you wish to see in the world. What 3 things do you stand for no matter what? What do you want people to know you for? What if you had 1 minute to go out and speak to the world? What truth would you share? These are the kind of things that you need to be thinking about. This is the real purpose of having a platform, you guys. This is our ability to go out and use our voice to create influence, to be catalysts for real change in the planet. Okay. So I want you guys to think about that, because these answers are the seeds of your brand. And this is what creates magnetic conversations and content where people want to be near you. This is where your vibe will attract your tribe. Okay. So we're talking about influence. It's not about popularity, it's about resonance, how powerfully your message can land. So I want you guys to think about, what you believe in, what you live out, what you can teach, what you like to share. What do you want people to feel when they're coming to your page? You know, like, oh, I always get to learn from her, or I always laugh when I go to his page, or I always feel inspired. I mean, break down pillars of what that looks like. Okay. So really write down maybe like 10 things that you like to talk about. Maybe just write it down. Remember when we were little and you guys that did it in school where you draw the circle and then you would draw the little stems, like, so in the middle it would be like pillars for my content, and then you could draw little lines and then ideas off the side. You could do that. Actually, I think James said something like that when we were out of town the other day. He called it like a tarantula or something like that. I don't remember. I feel like, right? Was it like an octopus or a tarantula? I don't remember. But do that, okay? And then circle the top 3 to 5 things that you want to talk about, that you're inspired to talk about, okay? A sun, I love that. There you go. Tarantula probably wasn't the most appealing, relatable word, but fun fact, I used to have pet tarantulas and I would hold them and I loved them and they were awesome. But anyways, so the pillars, okay? Again, break down your pillars, whether it's holistic health, you know, empowerment, lifestyle stuff. Maybe you like to talk about chronic illness, something that I know multiple people on here have your own health story. I used to talk a lot about addiction and alcoholism, but I kind of transitioned over that and switched more into holistic wellness. But think about what it is that you really like to talk about. If somebody came to your page and they only had 15 seconds, what would they walk away knowing that you stood for? Okay, so get really clear on your pillars, okay? And you can have relatable content, you can have educational content, you can have funny, entertaining content. I'm not a funny, entertaining one. There's a few people that I follow that are really funny, and I'm like, I'm just not funny like you, and I love it. So if you can come on your content and be funny, empowering, these are all different ways, inspiring, these are all ways to create influence in your space. Okay, so don't think about, like, you don't want to build a business that you have to chase. You want to build a brand that people feel and can follow. Okay, so when it comes to you showing up online and you going out and building a successful business, we got to talk about some of the blocks that come in, because we all have blocks. Okay, nobody here is immune to blocks. Okay, so it's really important that, you know, when you're feeling blocked, it's because your mind is getting in the way of you going out and spreading your message and your mission. Okay, we don't want to let our minds get in the way of our mission. Okay, repeat that to yourself all the time. My mind will not get in the way of my mission. All right, so it's really important that we talk about rewiring. We talk about ways that we can rewire. Okay, so one of the biggest blocks that people deal with, and I've dealt with this a lot, is the fear of reaching out, judgment, you know, the fear of being salesy. I know that we all have our own unique way on how we reach out to people and how we show up and build our content. But I want you guys to remember there's a really big difference between you showing up and being salesy versus you showing up and offering solutions. So you got to remember that sales is service. Okay, sales is offering someone a solution, because you know, people, you don't know what people are out there looking for. How many times I can tell you that just by having an organization right now, how many people are so grateful that somebody reached out to them and they're in this business. Why do you think that you don't have anyone in your network that would feel the same way? And so there's a difference between you going out and being pushy versus, hey, I'm offering something, are you interested? Okay, there's a very big difference between that. So you know that you're not going to show up and you're not going to show up and you're not going to be pushy and you're not going to be salesy. You're going out there and you're offering someone, and you have to reframe that in your mind of like, how can I go out and be of service today? Okay, and you have to think about too, whose opinion really matters. Like, really think about that. Like, when it comes to everybody in your network, whose opinion really matters, and anchor to that person. Like, anchor to the people that really matter, not just these random imaginary crowd that you're afraid of people judging you for. Okay, because if you don't show up, you guys, if we don't go out and we don't share our mission, then I mean, what kind of world do you think we would live in if people didn't go out and share their mission? What type of human experience would we have if people didn't go out and share their message? Okay, you don't think that some of the greatest change makers on this planet, you don't think that they didn't have fear? They had fear while they simultaneously had courage. I can promise you that everybody experiences fear because everybody has a mind. Okay, nobody has removed their mind from their brain or from their skull. So everybody has a mind, and the mind's nature, the ego's nature, is to keep us safe. It's to keep us in comfort, right? So that's where it shows up, and it's like, oh, maybe you shouldn't post that. Oh, maybe you shouldn't do that, because it's fear of rejection. It's fear of failure. So everybody has a mind. The difference is, wow, and I want you guys to this is a whole separate conversation we could have sometime, but you guys are allowed to experience two things that are completely opposite of each other at the same exact time. Like, you're allowed to be scared and be courageous at the same time. You're allowed to be joyous and happy while also having a piece of sadness in you, and other feelings at the same time. I don't want to project other feelings onto you, but you could experience both of those at the same time, happiness and sadness. I experience it every day. If you ask me right now if I was happy, I'd say absolutely. I'm so grateful. I have a great family. I'm healthy. The sun is out, rainbows exist, babies are being born. Like, of course I'm happy. But if you ask me if I'm sad, I could say, of course. Right now, children are dying of starvation. Slavery, human trafficking exists. Chronic illness is rampant right now. Of course I'm sad. The rainforest is getting torn down. Of course I'm sad. So at the same time, I want you guys to know that just because you feel one thing doesn't mean you can't feel the exact opposite in the same way. I want you guys to be able to be like, yeah, I'm experiencing fear right now, but I'm also courageous at the same time. Okay. Imposter syndrome, you guys, this one was really big for me. I had a lot of imposter syndrome. Really, when it came to, I honestly didn't know enough about network marketing when I first came into it to have any type of like emotions around it. I just did what I was told, and my mind didn't have time to get involved because it really didn't know a lot about network marketing. I'd never done it before. I hadn't been hurt before. I didn't have any wounds that I was carrying over. So I just kind of did what I was told, and I just ran with it. And that ignorance on fire is kind of what I did. But when I was coaching people, there was multiple times where I had imposter syndrome. So when you have imposter syndrome, it's that feeling of like, for me, it was like, well, why would anybody want to listen to me when there's thousands of other coaches out there that are definitely better than I am, right? And so when it comes to imposter syndrome, it's important that you give value to how you've shown up, because think about your presence, think about your conversations, think about your relationships, think about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times that you've helped someone. Think about how many times have you had a conversation with someone like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for this conversation. That really helped me. How many times have you done that with somebody? You guys, you're qualified. We are qualified to go out and talk to people and help people and be of service to people. You're qualified because you're willing to show up and you care. That's enough. That's enough for you to go out and be a change maker on this planet, is that you're willing to show up and you care. That's it. There's no other prerequisites to becoming someone great of impact. That's it. Those two things. Okay. And you're not saying, when it comes to anything in our lives, it's not saying that we're experts. There's always going to be somebody less qualified than us and more qualified, technically, right? So, and we're never going to line up every person on the planet and be able to map it all out. So, my kid said that the other day. He's like, oh, this kid's better than me or something. And I was like, baby, there's always going to be someone better than you. And that's cool. And there's always going to be someone that's not as good at you. I can't remember what she was talking about, like drawing or something. I think it was about her drawing. And I'm like, baby, that's just how it works. And that's okay. You just go out and do what you love. That's what you focus on. You do what you love, and that's it. Okay. Guilt around earning. This is another block that people have. I don't relate to this one because this is not in my programming. I have no guilt around earning money because I believe that it's an energetic exchange. And if you're willing to go out and you're willing to work and you're exchanging that energy, then the proper exchange will in return provide a certain amount of money. Sarah Shamoon likes to say, correct, post your thing, Sarah. I know you're here. Post your thing, post your awesome quote that you say. But that's what she says, and it's great. And I haven't I haven't memorized it, but every time she says it, I'm like, that's it. But it's true, you guys. I want you guys to feel worthy to go out and provide value and be willing to earn around it. And I know that there's all these blocks that people have had around money where Right action, correct exchange. Look at that. See, Sarah Shmoon has had such a great impact that Madison has been able to memorize it because that is Sarah's impact that she has left. Madison remembers it. Right, correct, right action, correct exchange. And I know there's blocks, people are like, oh, we grew up of, money doesn't grow on trees, or, it's evil to have money. I've never felt that way, you guys, to be honest with you, at all, because you guys, the more money I have, the more I tend to just give it away. I'm like, oh, you need money? Oh, you're struggling? Oh, like I just tend to give it to people. So I don't mind having money because I'm like when the tide rises, all boats rise. That's how it is when I've got money. So I've never felt that guilt around earning. And I think that, resources are important because when you have visions and dreams, most of the time they include resources. So, and a lot of the times our dreams and goals are inclusive. People hear like, oh, I want to retire my mom. I want to pay for my kids' college, so I don't have guilt around earning, but if you ever do, remember that. Think about the greatest changes that you can make that include other people that your resources can help. Fear of failure or success. You guys, this is so important because this is the mind doing its little tricky thing where it's trying to keep you safe, but it's crazy because the only way that we can evolve is through falling and making mistakes and getting back up and taking what we've learned and going out and doing something great with it. That's the only way to learn. It's just crazy that it's the human experience is that way. It's like, oh, the mind wants to not fail and fall and have issues, like challenges, but then like that's the only way to actually create success. So it's like this conflict of interest between the mind and your soul's journey. That's actually really what it is. There's a conflict of interest between the mind and the soul, and you just have to remember that the mind is really cool as a servant, but it's not a good master. It's an awful master, guys. If you let your mind become your master, this is why I meditate. This is exactly why I meditate. I sit down every single morning so I can balance my nervous system, and also so I can get my mind in check. Because when you're sitting there meditating, right? Because everybody complicates meditation. Just so you guys know, the point of meditation is to sit there and to build the muscle to not allow the mind to take you off into whatever thought it wants to take you to. It's creating the separation between, hey, I see you thinking and I don't have to get carried away in a thought. So you sit there and you sit and you're in quiet, and you just focus on, I usually focus on the center of my head right here. Sometimes you can just do a mantra and stay focused on that mantra, but then your mind will be like, oh, did you get the groceries? Did you pay the bill? Did you get the schedule? Did you? And next thing you know, a couple minutes has gone by and you're like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking for the last 2 minutes. I wasn't focused on my mantra or the spot, on my forehead. And then you go back to okay, all right, back to focus. Okay. And you're sitting there 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds goes by. And next thing you know, you're thinking again and you're like, I'm back to my thought, right? So the point is to create that space between your thoughts and you, because you're not your thoughts, you're not your mind, you're not your body. You are the conscious awareness witnessing and experiencing these things, okay? So it's really important that you guys understand that, and it's really important that you guys know that that just because you think it doesn't mean that it's true. Your brain's a little beep and likes to lie to you, okay? And not because it's like this evil conniving thing. It's just it tells you things that you have to be very discerning on if that's your truth or if that's just your mind trying to keep you safe, okay? So fear of failure, again, this is really important because this is a trick. You guys have to fall. We have to fall. The reason I am the human that I am, my greatest lessons, the reason I have so much vitality for life and passion for life is because of how deep and dark my falls were. Like that is literally why I feel so strongly about life right now, is because of how just terrible my lows were. My lows were so intense, you guys. I hit bottom. It was so funny. I would hit bottom in that time in my life and I'm like, wow, this is rock bottom. And then I would hit a lower bottom and I was like, whoa, okay, this is rock bottom. And then I would hit a lower bottom and I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't know where this is going, but I hit multiple rock bottoms. Okay. So, and remember that sucking at something is the first step, you guys. Okay. So there's a really fun song and I tried to find it the other day because I wanted to play it for you, but it's this fun song. It's like, sucking at something is the first step at being sort of good at something. And it's great because it is the first step. All right. Comparison to others, you guys, this is so important because comparison is the thief of authenticity and joy. Okay. It will steal your joy and your passion for life. Comparison will do that. Okay. And it's we've all fallen in that trap, right? We've all fallen into that space where our mind starts trying to create a comparison. And that's why it's important for you to get really real with yourself of what kind of life do I want to create? What do I want to stand for? What change do I want to see in the world? What is my unique impression I can leave? There's a reason that we all have that there's a reason why duality exists. There's a reason why this whole human experience is happening, and it's not because we're all supposed to be the same and deliver the same message in the same way and have the same experiences. It's meant to be unique, and where focus goes, energy flows. So if you focus on yourself and you focus on your own message and you focus on your own gifts and perspectives, then you can be a change maker. And that's what we all want to be. We all want to be change makers. So I want you guys this week, I want everybody to go out and create a piece of content that highlights your unique journey. Okay, I want you guys to go out and talk and share about your unique journey. Remember, your brand is your life and it is your message. Okay, next thing that people do, this is just a mistake that people will make, is just only posting products. Don't do this, you guys. Don't only post products. I don't think any of you guys do this, but I don't see everybody on the call. But sometimes I've seen pages where sometimes people will only post products and they won't post themselves. And I just had to have a heart-to-heart with my mom about this last night, or a couple nights ago, actually, because she just likes to just go on and show the product. And I'm like, Mom, get on your social media and show your face. Get on your social media and talk about your message. Talk about what's exciting for you. Go and share your own voice. So last night, what did she do? She got her little Vital Health box, and she sent me an unboxing video, but she didn't open it, but she was pretending to open it of what her boxing video would look like. She sent it to me. I watched it. She called me back. She's like, so what do you think? And I'm like, okay, all right, we got to tweak a couple things. So we tweaked it. She re-recorded it. She sent me another video. And I'm like, you're close. You're super close. Then she did it again, sent it to me, and I'm like, okay, great. That is really good. I want you to go on your social media every day. I want you to show your face. I don't want you just showing, because she'll just put, take a picture of her coffee in the morning and like, that's it. I'm like, show you. People want to see you. Okay. I'm telling you guys this. You guys will see a difference between if you just post a picture of or a video of not you and then versus you'll always get more engagement when people see your face. Okay. People want to see you. Don't hide. Okay. I love seeing you guys. When I see your guys' cameras on versus off, I like to see your face. Okay. It's the same thing on your social media. People are coming to your social media to see your face. Show your face. Okay. Another thing that people do is sometimes they'll wait to be told what to do. You guys have to sometimes too, we'll get into this mindset because we've been employees, but you have to get in the mindset of leading yourself. And this is important. This is why I Google Calendar everything. Literally everything is on my Google Calendar, from wake up to practicing my Duolingo to eating to posting the call schedule to taking my dogs to the dog park to making calls. I mean, like driving time, like everything goes on my calendar because I decide what goes on there. I organize it, and then my calendar tells me what to do. So I have myself organized. Make sure you guys are organized, because and you always have to backtrack it, right? Whatever goal you want to have in your life, then you have to think of the things that have to happen in order for that goal to happen. And then you just backtrack it that way. So it's like, okay, well, if I want to be successful in my business and I want to make a certain amount of money, okay, great. That means I have to talk to people. That means I should post content. That means I should start conversations. That means I should get people on presentations. So you just keep backtracking. Okay, for that to happen, that means that if I'm going to post content, that's going to take an hour out of my day. Okay, boom, an hour gets blocked out for content. If I'm going to invite people, that means I'm going to have conversations. That's going to take however long. Maybe I don't want to do an hour in a chunk. Maybe I only have 20 minutes 3 times a day, and I'm deliberate and I'm conscious. I open my phone. I'm like, you are not getting on your phone and scrolling on social media, because that's distracting, right? You go like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna reach out to people and I'm gonna create conversations. And then you get on your homepage because that opens up and you're like, oh, I love this piece of content. And the next thing you know, you're like, oh, that looks great too. And then 20 minutes goes by and you're like, damn it. Okay, the algorithm is meant to do that, you guys. So you have to, I'm opening Instagram and I love to talk to myself. I don't know if y'all talk to yourself, but I do. I'm going to open my phone right now, Brooke. You're going to open your phone and you are not going to scroll. You're going to go straight to your messages and you're going to finish conversations. And you have to have conversations with yourself, you guys, but you have to tell yourself what to do, because nobody's going to come and do it for you. Inconsistency, freezing. Sometimes it's scary for you guys to show up, for me to show up on social media. So this is when your nervous system is like, right? It's afraid. It's afraid of the outcome. It's afraid of what's going to happen. It's afraid of what people are going to say. You're afraid of how you're going to land. You guys, centering yourself. Like I said, I do this in the morning. This is why, I will not get on a phone call with you at 9 o'clock in the morning. 10 o'clock is now this call, but if it's not, 10 or if it's earlier than 10 a.m., I'm not getting on the phone, because that's my time to center myself and to regulate my nervous system so I can show up and be great. So you guys have to have times that you regulate yourself, because it's not possible for us to think like, you guys, we're not all like perfectly healed, right? Like we're all walking around with pieces of pain still, and pieces of little wounds. We all have them, and it's okay. It's part of the human experience. It's not the problem. That's not a problem. What is a problem is if you allow them to stop you, right? So it's like, okay, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit of pressure right now, or I'm feeling a little bit like I'm in freeze state and it's hard for me to take action. You know what? I'm going to put my phone down. I'm going to turn off technology and I'm going to regulate myself, and I'm going to sit and I'm going to breathe. I'm going to do some box breathing, or I'm going to do some meditation, or I'm going to connect myself. I'm going to center myself with, what do I see? What can I feel? What can I taste? What can I hear? I'm going to go on a walk. I'm going to do a digital detox. I'm going to do some tapping. You guys, tapping is incredible. I teach this in workshops. If you ever come to a live workshop, I usually teach this when we go live. We have a live, just so everybody knows, May 24th and May 24th. You guys are in Dallas, but I'll teach tapping, because it's just going to regulate your nervous system. Okay. And this is important, because this is going to tell your nervous system, we're safe, we're good, we can continue. Right. And so if you go to take an action after that, don't put something intense on your plate. Okay. Just put something small. You know what? Instead of me writing this big, inspiring, crazy post, why don't I just go post an inspiring sentence? Right? Instead of being like, I need to go reach out to 10 people, why don't I just go create one connection and go send one message? Okay. So just taking it step by step, because sometimes our nervous systems have experienced their own experiences, right? And so we don't want to jump. The point of expansion is you don't have to go and like force this like intense expansion. You can slowly, safely take a little bit more of a step, instead of being like, I'm going to show up on social media, with 20 posts, 20 stories a day and blah, blah, blah. Maybe I just show up once a day and I just show up doing the same thing every day. Hey guys, I'm here making my morning drink again. I'm making my breakfast. Just when safely expand yourself, safely tell, train your nervous system that being seen is safe. Creating conversations is safe. Doing something scary is safe, because your conscious thoughts is not the same of what's going on in your nervous system. Consciously, you know that you're safe. Like, yeah, I'm cool. Like, a tiger's not going to come out and eat me because I said hi to someone, but your nervous system doesn't feel that way. So it's important that you can slowly, safely move your body through. Okay. Perfectionism, you guys, I can tell you this one I've struggled, this one I've struggled with a lot, actually, not from the sense that I'm like, this has to be perfect, but from the sense that I'm like, this isn't good enough to post, like where I'm like, this isn't worthy of posting, or like, nobody is going to like find a lot of value in this. So I just don't post it. And I'll tell you guys that a lot of the times the things that we don't think are going to land well end up being our greatest post. I posted the other day. I was just posting David and I what we were doing. I was like, we're on a plane. We're gonna go ahead to do this, and it was one of my really great performing posts that I've had recently. And I was like, I was just talking about me getting on a plane and going to Utah. Like, it was pretty basic and it was great. And I was like, oh, interesting. So don't let your mind get in the way of your message. Just share it. Okay. Even if it's 80% good, just share it, just launch it. And again, your clarity in your growth, your evolution is going to come from the learning, not from perfection. It's going to come through action. Take action. Okay. Don't wait for it to be perfect. And this is why I want you guys, this is why I don't love ChatGPT, you guys, for posts. I would rather you write out the entire post the way that it's coming from you. And if you want to put it into chat and say, hey, if there's anything here that you think that could be a little bit better, please let me know. And then maybe, it's like, oh, think about saying this and this, maybe make a couple of tweaks. But you guys, it's important that you don't show up perfect. It's important that your content doesn't sound perfect. I've been writing like lengthy content, like inspiring content for years. So my people, I mean, David used to tell me years ago, he's like, don't you think you write too much in the caption? I'm like, no, this is what people know me for. Like I've always been really lengthy in how I talk. So that's normal for me, but for you to all of a sudden, if you're not lengthy in your conversations and all of a sudden, or your posts, and all of a sudden you're writing these long, perfect posts, it might not land great. Okay. So make sure that it sounds like you. Sometimes we'll question like who we are to lead. And again, you guys, remembering that if you're willing to share and you're willing to show up and you're willing to be courageous and you're willing to be the change that you wish to see in the world, then you have the right to go and lead. Okay. Shame from past failure, you guys. Remember, anything that you did is not who you are. Okay. That's just part of your message. Okay. So what did you learn? What did you learn from whatever happened in that experience that you get to go and lead with now? I'm telling you, my most inspiring content when I first came and shared all my content, it was all about my alcoholism. It was all about me overcoming it. It was all about the challenges, starting to eat healthy and go to the gym. From someone that never did that, people are like, oh, I bet you did gymnastics and sports growing up. And I'm like, no, I did not. I was not an active human until I was 25 years old. So you guys, going out and sharing your biggest, greatest, most mistakes humanizes you. And I'm not saying you have to like open up the whole closet, but I'm saying that you going out and being human and showing, like transparently showing, like, here's where I was imperfect. It's actually the best content. People love that. Okay. I want you guys to also not get caught up in thinking that you have to have results or achievement in a certain amount of time. Okay. Do not put exact expectations on your progress. Okay. Instead of being like, I want to hit, this rank or make this much money in this amount of time, track your consistency instead of results. Like, get a calendar or an Excel spreadsheet and be like, you know what? I made a post today. I reached out to one person today. I had a phone call today. Like, have a consistency calendar and watch how your actions lead up to results. Okay. Because momentum comes from daily deposits. It's not like one big push. Okay. It's like bodybuilding. And I'll be honest with you, when I came into the world of bodybuilding and fitness, I remember being so curious on what it took to get the results of the girls that I saw on my social media. So I started following some of these girls and I was like, oh my gosh, they look amazing. I want to look like that. Okay. So I had an idea of what I wanted to look like. And I had no idea what it was going to take to get there because this was a new world for me, right? I had no idea. I'm like, okay, I mean, I think I'm supposed to eat healthy and I'm supposed to work out, but like, what's the formula for me to look like that? And I remember, so I would go onto their pages and I would scroll back into the bottom of their Instagram to watch their journey. And I wanted to get a time frame. I'm like, okay, what does it look like? How many years did it take for them to get to where they're at? And it was average 2 to 3, 4 years for them to go to where they were, which was not in fitness, not active, blah, 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 to where they were. And so it gave me a understanding of what I had to do, and it set realistic expectations for me. So I wasn't like 2 months in and I'm like, why don't I look the way I want to look? It was, oh, okay, I'm in this baby for 3 to 4 years. I'm willing. And And guess what? When I showed up with those actions, I created an outcome. So I want you guys to think about that too when you're here in your business. This isn't a short-term thing. This is building a legacy. This is building something that is it worth it to you? Like, let's say you could get to a point in your business where you're making 5, 10, 15 plus thousand a month. Would it be worth it for you to build a brand that along the way you're getting to know yourself better, you're getting to feel more comfortable sharing your mission, sharing your message, impacting people, changing the world, while you're getting really good at doing that, feeling safe being seen, feeling safe receiving, feeling safe delivering, while you're on that whole journey, because business, and entrepreneurship is going to be your greatest teacher, then at the end of that, even if it takes 2, 3, 4 years making, 5,000, 10,000 plus a month, is it worth it to go through that journey to potentially have that outcome? But even if let's say that financial outcome didn't come, during the way, you got to be a change maker in the world, and you get to create an impact, and you get to have self-discovery and evolve as a human. I mean, like, you guys, there has to be a long-term vision in this, okay? So I'm just going to leave you with these 2 questions, and whichever one resonates with you the most. What part of you do you need to meet, forgive, or embody to become the version of you that already has what you're building? Or what change today, if you fully trusted your voice, your vision, and your story, were exactly what someone out there is praying for? Okay? So go out there, create a piece of content this week that resonates. Go out and create a piece of content that is your story, is your alchemy, is your message. What part of you do you need to meet, forgive, or embody to become the version of you that already has what you're building? Or what changed today if you fully trusted that your voice, your vision, and your story were exactly what someone out there is praying for? Okay, you guys need to think about that. These are the types of questions you have to go in and answer so you can go out and deliver. Okay, thank you so much, you guys. Have a wonderful day. Sending everybody so much love.